My goodness, something is in the air tonight. I must say,
Smells like
today
Side Friend Chronicles to me.
it smells like the Southland Chronicles. What's going on, everybody? I am Daddy Goods, and this is the co-host
Bella. Yo, girl.
Stella, the Big Bella,
The big booty Bella.
the Big
Hey.
Nut Bella, the Alpha Brain Bella,
That's
the
right.
the Chicken
The
Head
Thriller
Bella,
in Manila.
the Thriller in Manila, the Chicken Head Bella, all of that. The Smeller, she's a smeller too. Smelling
I
something
smell
in
good,
the air
though.
tonight. I don't know about that, man. It might be a little fishy over there.
It's not fishy. It might be funky, but it's not fishy.
Whoa, remember that? Remember that McDonald's commercial, the fishy? Remember that one?
I don't, actually.
You don't remember that? It was like an actual commercial that McDonald's used to air. Oh, and by the way, everybody, if you're tuning in right now, make sure you press that subscribe button, press the like button, and if you're on Apple, Spotify, or wherever, make sure you leave that review because that greatly helps the podcast, right?
Sure does. Sure does.
And guess what? It's absolutely free to you to do those things and support your favorite podcast.
That's
But
right.
anyways, yes, there was at one point in time a commercial by McDonald's, and they would sing fishy for the fish fillet sandwich, right? And somehow, some way, it became like the thing that everybody that I knew would sing when like a girl was like lightweight stinking. Hygiene matters, ladies. Hygiene really
matters. Also, fellas. Some of y'all
That
be
is
fucking
true.
stinking too. So
Dude, I had a dream last night, actually. This is the funnier part about what we're talking about right now. And I promise you, I had a dream that I was like really funky and I was like in high school or something. But like myself now, but for some reason I was in high school, like a student, right? And I was like, damn, like I'm smelling, and couple minutes go by or something and everybody's putting like deodorant sticks on my desk and stuff like that, and I'm like, dang, do I smell that bad right now that people are really just putting like deodorant and things like that on my desk? I'm like, oh my goodness, this is terrible.
you don't want to be the stinky kid. But like I was actually thinking about that because it's those like hard lessons that you learn like growing up from like peer cruelty that like
Right.
make you more self-aware as an adult. And I don't know, like I was thinking about that, but also it was because I was driving. I was on my way to like Starbucks or something.
Okay.
And I drove by where there's like construction going on, and there was this guy standing there with like a really wrinkled shirt.
Okay.
And I was thinking about how like if I pull out a shirt and I could like put it away immediately, but sometimes if you put it in your closet and your closet's packed, or even if you fold it and you put it in your dresser, sometimes it comes out and it's got a couple of wrinkles on it, just from being like compacted or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I always throw my shirts or whatever really quick if there's anything in them in the dryer to like de-wrinkle, because sometimes if you have a wrinkled shirt, people look at you like, oh my god, that chick wears wrinkled clothes.
You think they look at you? They probably aren't even thinking about how wrinkled your shirt is.
I have, though. When I see people with wrinkly clothing, I'm like, oh, they probably don't put their laundry away right away.
Most grown-ups,
or they probably don't care. Like the whole.
Most grown-ups probably don't care about how wrinkly other grown-ups.
I think a lot of grown-ups don't care, but I think it matters when you're like in like a social setting, high school, social setting, maybe middle school even, because that's where people are actually looking at you. And
maybe because you want to avoid like the get made fun of type of attention.
Right. Nobody wants to be the stinky kid. Nobody wants to be the kid that, people think maybe you're homeless because of the way you wear your clothes, or you know what I mean? There's implications that come with certain looks or behaviors, and you're never aware of the things that you do until someone calls you out on it, or you hear them call someone else out on it, and then you start to move differently.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like, that
That's
has
interesting.
happened to me where I've heard somebody make a comment about wrinkly clothes. And so from that point on, I decided I'm never going to be the person that they're talking about like that.
Dude,
And I don't wear wrinkly clothes.
I
You know what
tell
I
you
mean?
what, I do not give a rat's booty
This was when I
about.
was younger.
So you don't care now?
Younger. Not
You're
at
all good with the
36,
wrinkled
I
clothes?
don't give a fuck.
You're rocking
If
the wrinkled
unless I'm
tees?
going out to like a social setting, if I'm going to a bar, so I'm not gonna show up in a wrinkly shirt. But if I'm just going to the fucking grocery store or whatever, like I don't really care. I'll just throw on whatever. I don't even wear makeup to those places, you
I
know?
don't know, man. Kanye West lightweight kind of made like wrinkled clothes kind of hot. Hey, speaking of Kanye West, though, man, you see
When's he
how he
gonna
was,
drop that shit?
man, when's he gonna drop that album? Real talk. Come on, Kanye. We're waiting on the album, man. We
We're
need
waiting
that
on
that
all the
ganja.
cheese man, all the dirt.
There's word that he's trying to compete with Drake, like he's trying to drop his album at the same time as Drake, to stir some kind of controversy. But
That's a
they've been
petty
kind of at it
knife
for
for
a
you.
while. Did you know that Drake lightweight dissed Kanye on one of his latest singles, the song that he has called Wants and Needs? And in the song, I need to go spend some time with Jesus, but if I started confessing my sins, he wouldn't believe us. I'm like, dang, what's he trying to say? He slept with Kardashian. He slept with
Wasn't that the rumor
that was
anyways?
the rumor. Yeah,
That
that was
was
the
the
rumor.
rumor.
And he says, if I need to spend some time with Jesus, talking about Kanye, but if I
Uh-huh.
started confessing my sins, he wouldn't believe us. I'm like, dang, he's like lightweight telling them right there.
Yeah.
They
Well, you know how it is though. When these guys are going to drop their albums, they start to, you know, that's that publicity stunt, let's get people thinking.
right, right. That's what
They're
they
probably like
do.
homies and shit. So,
Maybe potentially. I mean, you don't ever see them together. I mean, they've always been like the arch nemesis, you know what I'm saying? Like they've always
have they?
like yes, because they say that Drake pretty much kind of like slid into Kanye's, realm, into his lane, and pretty much took over, like that, like fresh cut, like well dressed rapper who, was clear and well spoken. That was Kanye
I just thought
before it
they
was
were
Drake.
both so different. I've never compared the two. I've never saw them as even remotely similar.
And Kanye kind of ushered Drake in. Well, I mean, Lil Wayne did, but like Kanye had something to do with that as well. Like he directed his hit song that pretty much brought him into the game. The best I ever
Best
had.
ever. Yeah, that shit still goes.
Kanye
That's like my favorite Drake song,
Kanye
to be
directed the
honest.
music video for that video. So he had some kind of influence on Drake coming into the rap game,
Of
and,
course he
or
did.
whatever. But Drake, he's supposed to be dropping that album too. So like we're waiting on both. We're waiting on Kanye and we're waiting on Drake.
We really aren't waiting. Drop it
We're
whenever the
not
fuck.
really waiting, but like the world is waiting or whatever.
Yeah.
They're having like a battle on who's like the alpha rapper right now. Who's like the
I
guy.
hate these alpha battles. They're so
Oh
stupid.
yeah, why do you hate them so much? What's wrong with the alpha?
Because it's always the self-proclaimed alphas that are so insecure about their alphaness that they feel like
Mhm.
they gotta comment on shit, and like it just shows you how that's like the least alpha behavior ever.
Right, we've
Does
spoke
an
about it
alpha
before.
really give a fuck about what
So,
someone that they think is inferior to them like
does
thinks
a
and feels?
lion
Like, come
care
on.
about
About
the
the
opinion?
opinion of the sheep. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
It's
pretty
so
much
dumb.
what you're saying, right?
That's what
Because
I'm saying.
they don't care about the
They
opinion of
don't
sheep.
care.
They just do lion shit.
Right. Exactly.
They run around and
Stop
fucking.
calling yourselves alphas. You guys sound fucking stupid.
All right,
Okay?
so you're saying that guys should never
Women and
call
men.
themselves alphas. Like, how do you proclaim yourself as an alpha? Because I actually agree with you on that, Stella. Like, alpha behavior is just something that you do. It's not something that you
It's an
proclaim.
energy. Yeah,
It is
exactly.
it is an
It's the
energy.
way that you move through life and it's unspoken, bro. It's unspoken. You don't get to call yourself the president and then people think that's the case. Just like that, and that you don't get to call yourself alpha. People have to like deem you as such,
Mhm.
and that's just the way that is. Like calling yourself something doesn't make it so. Like You know what I mean? It
I do.
doesn't. And for it's, I don't know, it bothers me because I had like commented on a post. I follow this guy named Luis Garcia. His Instagram handle is Law of Ambition. I
Mhm,
responded. I made a comment, as people do. And typically, when I make
mhm,
comments, I've had a couple that actually got, popular amongst the comment world. But this one had like over 150 something likes, and some chick commented on it because the post was whether or not he preferred an alpha female or a submissive female.
mhm.
And he wrote something along the lines of, he believes an alpha female would submit to a man that, they were confident, some, whatever, to
Right.
those lines, right? And I've talked about this before. We have, where I believe that, women in general throughout time have been conditioned to be submissive. And I think that if a man came along that she trusted to lead, she would submit to him. But when I say something like that, I don't mean, okay, here's this guy, I'm going to fall back and just like puppy dog follow him and let him make all the fucking decisions and bark all the orders. That's not what that means. When
Mm,
I think about it, I think that if you're going to trust him enough to like submit or be led by him, that's completely circumstantial. You know what I mean? Like,
mm.
and if you yourself proclaim to be an alpha female, there are going to be times where, like those roles are kind of, like this, one comes in and one doesn't. Kind of,
Mhm.
you guys, lead and follow each other, right?
Right.
Because you have different strengths. And then so when certain circumstances come into your life, like you guys are faced with certain circumstances, you have different opinions, strengths, that whatever. And I think that is when you're going to have to trust each other to lead each other through different things, right? Situations in
Right.
life.
Yeah.
And so when I say something like that, that's where I'm coming from. And so this woman commented on my comment saying, "You don't speak for all alpha females. I would never fully submit, and this and that." And so I'm thinking to myself,
How does
first
she
of
know
all,
she's alpha, though? How does she
that's what I
know?
mean. These people, they proclaim themselves as such, and then they do shit like that. That's like very unalpha behavior, right?
Right.
Where you were so insecure in your alphaness that
Had to
you
comment.
first of all, you misread what I said, because you said 100% of women, and I said,
Alphas probably know how to read. Continue.
right. She said, you said 100% of women would do this. You need to watch what you're saying. You're making generalizations. I said, and then she called me ignorant. And I was like, or
Ooh.
unintelligent. And I was like, first of all, you're unintelligent, because I didn't say 100% of women. I said 100% a woman would. And I said, maybe you should quit fucking with dudes you don't trust enough to hold the reins every now and then.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, I believe that there are women out there who don't believe that they would submit in any circumstance because maybe they haven't met or fucked with a man that they trusted enough to like maybe give a little bit of responsibility to for a second. Like, here, please take this load for me.
Right.
Like, I know you can carry us for a minute. You know what I mean? And so like maybe that's where she's coming from.
What do
But
you mean by load? What do you mean by take this load?
like like you got to
Load.
trust your partner, right? Because you're not going to be 100% strong and carrying all this weight 24/7. Like,
Mm.
you guys have to share the load, share the weight, share the responsibility, and if you don't trust them enough to do such, then that's a problem, right? But that doesn't make you're not an alpha female because you don't trust your man enough to like let him lead you every now and then. You know what I mean? Like, in fact, you're the opposite, because you're too ignorant or not self-aware enough to recognize your own where you lack strength, right? Or
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Or where you're not fully there. So if you can't recognize that in yourself, then I wouldn't think that you should be able to call yourself an alpha. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And so that was that conversation that I had sort of ish in the comments of this post. And it was stupid. I hate when people, like, bottom line, stop calling yourselves alphas. You're not an alpha because you fucking say so.
It's really
It's
difficult to argue with people who are really ignorant on the internet.
And
A
they
lot
just
of
wanna be
times
right so bad. They don't wanna
they want
understand.
they want some kind of they need some kind of like confirmation, or they want to feel like they're right, or they want others to comment on their post and be like, oh yeah, sister, you're so right, you're saying all the right things. Like, people love that validation, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
a lot of times people are
A sister
just
needs
fishing for that,
validation.
and
Mhm.
needing validation is like super non-alpha. if
That's
if you had
beta.
It's super beta, like, if you had to describe it. But yeah, like, in general, like, people, like, proclaiming herself as alpha in some kind of way. Like, look, either you're, like, a leader type of individual or you're not. But even leaders know where to recognize who are the people, like you're saying, also have strengths within the group or within a relationship, whatever the situation is. Like, you're
Right.
able to pull people together, form teams,
Right.
and do things like
Exactly.
that, because there ain't no I in team. So
Right.
that's what it all comes down to. and
Exactly.
and like, as a woman, if a woman doesn't know how to pick the correct man to have in her life to be able to do certain things that men should do without her feeling inferior in some kind of way,
Right.
then
Exactly.
absolutely beta, you know 100%.
That's all I said, man. That's all I said. She kept trying to come for me like I didn't fucking like blah 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 and stop speaking for all of us. She said us alpha females. She kept stressing on how alpha she is, and I was just like, bro, you
Yeah.
couldn't be any less. I mean, like, fuck, man. There's no way in fucking hell you could call yourself that, but go off.
It sounded like she just wanted to stir the
And it
smoke
was one
and
of, and then I clicked on her shit, and it was like she is following 600 and something accounts and has 0 followers and like 0 posts. I was like, bitch, you're a bot. Fuck out of
see,
here.
sometimes I feel like bots actually argue with people, because I've seen that before, where I've made a comment on a boxing post, because I love boxing, and I'll
Mhm.
say something on a boxing post, and then I'll get multiple people like firing back at me, some kind of debate with me about a boxer or a boxing match or something. Then I
Mhm.
click on their profile and there's no pictures, or there's a
Right.
picture of like some like random thing, and like you said, like, they're following like a lot of people and have no followers. I'm like, dang, was I really like kind of going back and forth with a bot? Like, are the
Right.
AI systems that advanced now to
They're
where
like, "Yo, mama."
like they're even arguing with like actual people, and
Yeah.
like you got to kind of like look at it and be like, dang, like, I'm actually arguing with a bot. I actually said that, to be honest. I said, dang, you're a bot, like literally a bot.
Yeah.
And like they'll like say something like they'll say something like super similar to what they said at first, and I'm like, this is actually a bot, like,
Right.
unbelievable. Like, I was sitting there arguing with the bot. So I don't even know like how many like I want to know the actual number of bots on Instagram now, because like, dude, like, you post anything, no matter who you are, you post anything with any kind of hashtag at all, you're gonna
Promote
get
it on.
promoted on,
Yeah.
promoted on, or something along those lines. Like, there's so many bots, and then like you even see it on like a lot of popular accounts, a lot like I mean like celebrities, like verified accounts and stuff. Like, you look and see they have like 50,000 comments, and you're like,
The
really, you got
first, like,
50,000
100
comments?
comments are like, "I bet you won't look at my story."
Or
Or,
I'm
"I'm looking for
looking for
something
something
long and
big and
hard."
large.
Yeah, like some dumb shit, and you're just like, "Okay. Wow." Like,
Yeah.
we can't even comment on these posts or read the comments or contribute to a comment because, they're all bots. But I actually think that this was a real person just by the way that they were responding.
Mhm.
Um It was just
Maybe
probably someone who's just, so
wouldn't it be
alpha that
trippy though if it wasn't a real person and the AI system and the bot systems that are in place now can actually argue with somebody like an actual person and like somewhat kind of sound like they are trying to
yeah.
make a point, you know what I'm saying? Like that
I think
is probably a thing now.
when the comments come off as emotional, then you're like, okay, maybe it's a person because
Mhm.
I'm not aware of robots being sentient whatsoever. Like, just like having feelings or emotional about something, but maybe the programming is like, or maybe the bots are actual people and that's just what they get fucking paid for, to be on the internet and look like that and argue with people.
You want to know what makes me feel emotional?
I
When I
don't.
look when I look at the cryptocurrency market and I see certain tokens, certain coins taking off like XRP. And right now it is over $1. So anybody listening right now, if you are an XRP holder, it is a wonderful time to be an XRP holder. It is now above $1.
That
Stella,
makes
it's
my
exciting.
wallet happy, but I'm not going to be as happy about it until it gets to where it was before, like
It
as
went
high
up
as it was.
to it went to like $1.90 like 4 months ago, right?
Yes, and I was thrilled. I
And
said, "Fuck yeah, dog."
so a lot of exchanges, they call them, the places where you can buy cryptocurrency, a lot of them took XRP out of the loop.
They
They
did.
delisted it.
They
They
did.
delisted it because they were going through a lawsuit with the SEC, and the SEC pretty much controls everything that has to do with money in the United States, right?
Mhm.
And so they did a lawsuit on them. And there's been hearings and there's been some things going on that are behind the scenes, and they're saying that XRP might be relisted to these exchanges pretty soon. And that is one of the reasons why it is kind of pumping right now. Now, if it does get relisted, there's a lot of speculation that it could catapult, to the tens of dollars.
God, I hope it does. Fuck, man. Please do.
Mhm.
Please. I could totally use it right now.
So this is free game for anybody listening right now.
Where can you buy XRP right now, though?
So this is the tricky part about buying XRP right now, is that there's not a lot of exchanges that you can buy XRP right
Right. Because you can't even buy it off of where I bought it in the first place, which was Coinbase.
now.
You can't even buy it there right now.
You can't buy
You
it there
can't
right
buy it on Robinhood. You can't buy, you know what I mean? Like, so where can you buy XRP right now?
So I would like to give you all that nugget of information, but I got to see some kind of super chat action or something like that, because tales
You're
to be sold
doing
and not told, baby. But there is
holding
one
information
platform.
hostage.
There is one platform right now in the United States that you could still buy XRP, and hey, man, it's still a very low price. It's at $1 right now, and some change, and
Remember when you had me buy it like over a year ago? It was like 7 cents or some shit.
it was 17 cents.
Was it 17?
It was
Okay.
it was about 17 cents, which where it's at now, that's quite the jump, from 17 cents to $1.05 or whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
quite the jump. You
Because
got
I
some
wanted to
noise.
buy more after, like, before it started to go crazy high, and I wasn't allowed to, because it wasn't allowing it to happen. So I was like, shit,
Yeah,
but
we are
something is
live
better
right
than
now,
nothing.
Royce.
We
We
are
are live.
live, Royce. What's up?
What's up with the
If
guy?
you are watching, go ahead and drop us where you're from, where in the world you're watching from. That would be cool to see that again.
We like to go
Um,
live. We
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 do
realize
every
that.
once in a while.
But yeah, man. Hey, you know what? Like a lot of people, it's gonna be like, in my opinion, it's gonna be like Bitcoin and it's going to be a big thing. Remember,
So we
Bitcoin.
hold.
Bitcoin at one point was, $1.
Yeah.
So just
I
think about
remember, and it just sounded so crazy back then. You're like,
like
"What? Like, no way."
look where Bitcoin is right now.
I know. I know.
49 or 46,000 right now. Like that's ridiculous.
Incredible.
It's incredible. So
Incredible.
there's got to be another one. And what better coin than XRP? A United States created coin that is going through some kind of process right now within the SEC, the people who control all of the money basically and all of the securities and everything of that sort. And that's the whole argument. They're trying to say that XRP is a security, not a cryptocurrency, but everybody knows XRP is a cryptocurrency. So, the proof is in the pudding, and it just is what it is. So all of my cryptocurrency enthusiasts out there, holler at us about crypto. We like crypto too. Crypto is the way of the world, man. It's the new wave. I mean, you see it popping up everywhere. There's actual Bitcoin ATM machines, at gas stations and whatnot, where you can sell your
And
Bitcoin.
places are accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment now as well.
And so you would think that if there was some kind of a technology that you can get, yeah, buddy, get ETH and new cipher. Royce with the super chat. ETH, get that Ethereum, buddy. Ethereum is a good one too. Ethereum.
Also, disclaimer: we are not financial advisors, so do this all at your own discretion. Like,
please
do what you got to do for you at your own.
Please
risk.
Don't invest all your money after listening to this podcast.
Don't do it. Right. Don't do it.
Any cryptocurrency, like, do your research and weigh your options, weigh your risk, and just know that anything that you invest always has a potential to go both ways.
Go south, right? Exactly. Life's a risk, carnal.
But I will say this: you only lose money when you sell. So
that's just true. I haven't sold shit, not even when it was really high.
And you also only make money when you sell. So, just a little nugget of information right there. Anyways, I do hope that XRP spreads like wildfire and just expands and expands and expands. Well, I'm working on my segues. Now,
he's so cheesy. You're so cheesy. I like it. That was better. That was better. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So tell me about these wildfires.
Well, as you know, guys, the world is on fire. However, I found it interesting. So, when we were in elementary school, how we were taught the different climate regions, like this is the tundra, and this is, the tropical, whatever. You know what I'm saying? All those climate regions.
Right.
And so when I think back to when I was a kid, when you think about tundra and those places, they were always blue or purple on the map because they're colder tundra? Places, huh?
I don't know where tundra is. Where's tundra?
You don't know what the tundra is?
I do not know what the tundra is.
Oh my fucking God. So it's like
Toyota?
So no, not a Toyota Tundra.
Okay. I'm sure there's somebody else listening right now who doesn't know.
So the tundra is north. It's up by it's basically Siberia and Russia, northern Russia, where it's kind of cold and snowy and shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was wondering about how that's changed in the last 30 years because how this relates to all this is there's wildfires in Siberia in Russia, and they're pretty gnarly. But for the first time ever, wildfire smoke has reached the North Pole. And there are satellite images showing this because the world's not flat, by the way.
It is, by the way.
It's not.
How can you prove that though? You can't.
How could you prove it's flat?
There's way more proof that it's flat than there is that it's
I
round.
think there's far more proof that it's round than it is flat.
Continue, please.
Okay. You guys, he thinks the world's flat.
It is.
Anyways,
Total.
so this is crazy to me how much shit has changed in the last 30 years. So I was looking for a current map because I'm sure it's changed, but hang on, let me look. I'm Googling this. So what are other climates you remember?
What other climates do I remember? What I do know about climate is that the polar ice caps are melting and they're panicking because we're going to be revealed the other world that is beyond the ice walls in Antarctica, and they don't want that to happen.
Oh my God.
Gematria.
Yeah. Jimmy's hilarious, you guys.
I'm gonna show y'all the flat earth map right quick. Like real talk. I'm gonna show y'all.
Yeah, so there's like deciduous forest, temperate, tundra. You don't remember these keywords from like back in the day?
I mean, lightweight. I'm about to find a flat earth map and I'm gonna show you. Like even
all
like
earth maps look flat on paper.
All right. I'm gonna show you
guys.
I'm gonna show you the one.
He's killing me.
She, for some reason, ever since she got the vaccine, she believes everything the government tells her.
You're so stupid.
Let me like I was just playing government. I'm just playing. I'm not knocking.
He is out of control.
I am not knocking. Okay. I love the jab. I'm getting it.
So there was like the Arctic and subarctic and like the tundra and then temperate and subtropical and equatorial. Like there's these different like regions when like on these maps. And like what I've noticed is that like a current one completely got rid of like a whole level. And I think that's because of climate change and how crazy it is. It's like way hot now.
All right, everybody. So if you're listening to this right now, you're not going to be able to see what I'm showing. So refer to YouTube.
But I wanted to tell you guys that it's because so when I was in like a geology class in college, they explained like so how the earth orbits the sun is not circular. It's like what is the word? It's like it's like an oval. Right?
It goes east and west, back and forth, because there's no way for us to orbit around the sun.
What the hell are you even saying? I can't even take you seriously right now. Can you drop that down? What do you mean you think it just goes like this back and forth, that we don't actually orbit the sun? That's what you really believe right now? Or are you fucking with me?
No, I'm serious.
Okay. Anyways, so we don't orbit circular, we orbit in an oval, right? And we also tilt back and forth. So there's like these different spikes throughout history where we're coming closer to the sun or where we're staying like further away based on how we're tilting in an oval. And it's what's created like ice ages and like melting of the ice and shit like that. Except those are times where humans didn't live on the planet. And we do now, and we have created this, we've like hotboxed Earth, right? And so that's making it go into this shit like faster where it's not supposed to. I can't, like, you completely, with your flat Earth, like totally disrupted my whole point and train of thought with all of that.
I don't know how.
Good job.
I don't know how.
Because you're silly.
Where did you learn this information now?
The internet. But also college.
College. Mm-hmm. And I wonder where they learn all of this very So
Probably college. It's their if they're
that's
teaching it,
amazing.
it's their expertise.
Humans teaching humans things for decades. It's ama
Mhm.
it's amazing. If you wanted to, like, brainwash people into thinking a certain way, you would, like, make sure that they learned this information in school, and you would learn it from a young age all the way through college, and they would do it for decades and decades until
Ooh.
you only believed that that information was the factual information that you were learning. That's all I'm saying.
So
I
you
think
think
I
that 30 years ago, they had this elaborate plan to create a space or a world that looks like it's all going on fire and to hell and flooding just to what?
You realize that there is such thing as weather control, right? And that they can literally create weather.
I
Literally,
don't
like,
I
I'm
don't
not
believe that
even
whatsoever.
like, in
I
Dubai,
think creating
they literally
fires does manipulate the weather, and humans do that, like, on accident and on purpose all the time, like a bunch of dumb fucks. I
you
think shit like that does that, yeah.
in Dubai, and this is recent news, in order to cool it down a little bit because their weather goes above 120, they have used technology to create rain. This is like a fact. Like, you can look this up on your Google
Okay, and I get
if you
that in
trust Google
places that are dry that they need water so that they create shit
to create
to
weather.
help people, like, survive,
Mhm.
not to, like, manipulate you into thinking this, that, or the other, like, I don't like, I know that they create snow for, like, fucking places like Big Bear where it doesn't snow all the time, but there's a huge, like, ski resort, right? Like, that is something I understand. I don't think it's part of this elaborate plan to, like, make us all believe that, like, we're destroying the planet. I don't understand where that.
We probably are destroying the, planet. I mean, there's probably too many people, so it would
Well,
probably
there's a
be
lot of people, but there's not too many people. I
there
don't
has
I
to
don't
be.
think that that's
I
true.
mean how can it not be true? I mean, look at all the vehicles causing pollution, just everything that humans do in general, like, and we're only
But
becoming
humans
more
don't
and more billions.
need to do that. I think
They
that
don't
that
need to,
was
but they do.
I think that that was demonstrated last year when everything shut down and the world actually started to heal itself. Like, we don't need to do all this shit, but money rules the world. They've allowed money to be this, like, whole driving factor. And if we didn't need money and to do all, then we wouldn't be creating all this fucking bullshit. Like, the people who lived here before the whole industrialization of the world, they had it fucking figured out, right? They didn't create smoke and all this fucking bullshit. Like, they lived and they were fine. They were just their whole point in life wasn't to become trillionaires and fucking own a whole ass fucking island or landmass to themselves and, like, exploiting people and doing crazy shit. Like, that came with the industrialization of the world. That is not necessary for humans. We don't need it to survive. That's just what capitalism has taught us, and that's why we operate the way that we do.
Mm,
That makes sense.
I see where you're going. I feel
I
you.
mean, the world has plenty of space. Like even just in the western part of the United States, like, sure,
I
we have
agree.
these metropolises, but there's so much fucking land. And if they would
Trust me, I
stop,
know. Look at all
we
that
have
land.
enough food to feed everybody in this world, but they'd rather feed cows because it fills their pockets. Like, all the grain they feed to the agricultural fucking industry they could be using to feed the world, and they're not. Like, it's all about money. It's not, we're
You
not overpopulated. That's just what they want us to think, to justify us treating certain people as less so that we could give a fuck less if they die or not.
Mhm.
it's like that's how they're conditioning all the people who are like, oh, we don't need a vaccine, or oh, we don't need this. Like, that's why they have zero empathy, and they could give two fucks about like their fellow man, because they see each other as competition rather than like competing for resources, rather than, oh, you're a human, I'm a human, we could both fucking do this. Does that make
Right.
sense?
I feel you. There's a lot of divisiveness in the world with everything that's going on, no doubt. Capitalism, the mask and the jab, everything. There's just so many things just dividing everybody. I do think that if everybody came together, that, oh, my light just went out. Awesome. I do think it would be an amazing world, no doubt.
Right, but people aren't going to, because they have this kill or be killed mentality. They don't believe that what's been proven, 1,000 times over. Like, it's crazy. And you're over here fueling it.
How?
Oh, they control the weather, and the world's overpopulated, and Earth is flat, and it's like, come on, stop it.
I mean, dude, if the earth was spinning, can you hear me?
Barely, dude. He, like, for those of you not watching, Jimmy has stepped away from his mic and the screen, and I have no idea where he went.
I'm back. If the world was spinning, why is it that I cannot jump up and land in another part of the street? If the world was spinning, think about it. Gravity. Are you kidding me? So
Magnet is at the core of Earth, and we're spinning.
Even though the world is spinning, it's keeping me in the same spot. That literally makes no sense.
Gravity is why. Like, have you taken a physics class?
I have taken a physics. No.
Well, then you would understand this. This wouldn't be such like a crazy concept to you.
Dude, and there's no curvature. Like, you can literally go up high on a mountain and you can look straight across. Or even if you're on a plane, like there's no, like when you're looking out into the horizon, like there's literally
it curves.
Like you don't even see a curve with
high enough. Yes, it does.
And there's
it's like because you're only 6 miles above ground. You're not as high as you need to be. You're not a fucking astronaut.
Just think of the word astronaut. Astronaut.
It's not spelled N-O-T. It's spelled.
But they might as well spell it that way.
No. Oh my God, you're so insane. I don't know if you're serious or if you're like being for real with me. Just like
being like doing a podcast type of thing. Like, you don't know.
No. Because sometimes I think you're like lightweight serious. Because you like.
I'm scared to talk about stuff like this though. Because last time
I went COVID.
I got COVID last time I started talking all crazy. I got COVID. Now I don't want COVID again. So like I'll do what I gotta do to not get COVID again. So
oh my
if I gotta say the earth is round, I will say the earth is round just to appease the powers that be, because I am frightened of COVID. I am.
Right. And it wasn't real. And it wasn't really that big of a deal until Jimmy got it, guys.
When I got COVID, like I didn't understand like how real it was. Like,
so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna holler at our homie Jeff Bezos, and we're gonna tell his ass to shoot you into space so you can see how round this earth is. Okay?
I would be delighted to go to space.
And honestly, I'm gonna like just Google some free resources for you, some little quick classes, so that you could understand how gravity works, how the world does spin and orbit a sun, and the moon orbits Earth. And it's all pretty basic. We learn it.
Ella, could you tell these people to press the like button? They listen.
You guys, please, if you do think I'm beautiful, like our buddy up here said earlier, Andy Dalton, we appreciate you. go ahead and hit that like and subscribe and the bell notifications so that you
bell
can
stands for
continue to
Bella.
be in the that's right in the loop in with us.
Yeah.
And also, guys, go ahead and comment some places where Jimmy can find resources so that he can
Please.
learn
I
how
would
round
I
the
would
earth is,
I would
how
love to
gravity
do
works.
I would love to learn more about these things because currently
So if the world is flat and gravity doesn't exist, right? How does it just stay there floating? Is there something holding it and
I
supporting
don't know.
it? Like, I really want more answers
No,
from the
I do
flat earth
too.
community,
I do
because if
too.
you can't explain why if the earth is spinning, why if
I
you
will get
jump.
more information on this to where I could make a cohesive response to your questions on why the earth is flat.
It's
And
round
I will
though.
bring it to the next
Yeah, please
episode.
do. Please
I will bring it
do.
to the next episode.
We
I
are
will
all
plot a
very
list
curious.
because
Who's the
I
puppet
see all of
master
these.
holding the earth completely
God,
leveled?
God, we're in a
Okay.
simulation, and God is the
Okay.
creator.
All right.
What?
It's,
Why is it that you're like so close-minded? Like you can't even
I'm
fathom.
close-minded.
You
Oh.
are like because I used to think the earth was round too. And then I expanded my horizons. My third eye started to open more. My
Here's the
pineal
thing.
gland
I have
started to open more. I
tried
stopped
to
brushing
really
my teeth with
examine your
aluminum
flat earth talk,
and
right? And
fluoride, I
like I
mean.
just did. And I entertained it. But what I won't do is entertain it so much that I start to make excuses for it and why it's the thing versus where there's actual evidence and like years and anecdotal evidence, not just like whatever. Like people have gone to space and come back and like
I
this
can
is what it
feel
is. Like
coming in the air tonight. The big blunts. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I don't smoke actually.
you would
But
think though, Royce, right? Vegas has got that good.
they got that good.
That Delta.
That
Jimmy's been on the other
don't even say that
Delta.
word. I think that's the one I got. I think that's the COVID strain I got.
Jimmy's had
The
2
Delta.
different kinds of Deltas in the last couple of months,
Dude, don't
and
even
it got
start me on
him.
Delta 8. That Delta 8, I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
You got the Delta 8, you got the Delta COVID-19.
I'd rather catch
Jimmy's all kinds of fucked up lately.
I'd rather catch a STD than to do that Delta 8 again, man. That
Oh,
shit had me
shit.
tripping. Just
Oh,
playing, everybody.
shit.
I'm just working on my
This is a
segues. I'm
segue.
just working on my you know what I'm saying? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Jimmy just segued us into a conversation I have had with people, right? With men in particular, because it has been my experience because I'm crazy about STDs. I don't ever want to get one. I've never had one. We've talked about this. And so even if I don't have a new partner, I'll still get tested. And it has been my experience that my partners haven't really gotten tested the way that I do.
They wait for your results?
They wait for my results to be like, "Oh, I'm good. If you're good, I'm good." Kind of a deal.
Fellas, you're doing it the right way.
Why do men do that?
Well, I will tell you why. Because I'm a man, right?
Okay. Why don't men just go get tested on their own? Why do they rely on women's results?
Because we do it when we're younger in high school, and waiting in that waiting room for your result is the scariest time of your life, hands down. You'll never pray harder. You'll never tell yourself that you'll never go raw again more than you will when you're sitting in that room waiting on the results. So why not just wait for your significant other or your partner, whatever the case may be, to get their results? And then if she's cool, you're cool. You don't have to go through that traumatic.
That's not how that works. That's not how
It
that works.
shouldn't be, but it is.
First of all, when you get tested for an STD, you're not sitting in a waiting room waiting for test results. You go home, they call you. Second of all, there's one that I mean, I guess I would understand that you would rely on the women for because men can't get tested for it, and that's HPV. Y'all are out there spreading that shit like the wildfires, and you cannot get tested for it because you don't have the perfect environment that we do that is dark, wet, and warm, right? Shit.
What I tell you about saying dark, wet, and warm?
Okay. And so you guys just don't have that. We do.
Dark,
and it's the perfect environment. It's the perfect storm, right? So on that one, I can say, okay, y'all can wait for us for that one. But they don't even test women for that until they're in their 30s. Because apparently it's a virus, your body clears it out usually in your 20s. And if you don't clear it out in your 30s, or if you catch it in your 30s, you're likely to just have that for life. That's what they tell you. HPV. And there's like several different strains. There's like a couple that cause cancer. There's like one that causes warts, and I don't know what the other ones do. But it is why men are increasingly getting like throat cancer because of cunnilingus and HPV being present, and your throat is a dark, wet, warm place. So that's where that festers for men.
Yikes.
And I think in the colon, like in your asshole.
In the colon?
Right.
Oh my goodness. I'm not looking forward to any colonoscopy.
Colonoscopies.
That's what I said.
I've had colposcopies, which aren't
What's
fun.
A colposcopy?
A colposcopy is
colposcopy.
COL poscopy. That's where they take a biopsy off your cervix. Because if you get a pap smear where you have possibly abnormal cell growth on your cervix, they will have you go check to see if, maybe those cells will be cancerous. 9 times out of 10, it's just like, your cells were having a bad day. Like, it's not a big deal.
Everything could kill you these days.
Yeah, even cunnilingus. So make sure whoever you're going down on isn't testing positive for HPV. And I think the strains that cause cancer are like 16 and 18, not positive. I've done a lot of research on STDs because I'm definitely
the
afraid
world
of
is
them.
so scary. Like, why would you even want to like bring like new children into the world these days? It's
I could not even imagine. It's like a good thing I had my kids in my 20s, because that right now I wouldn't even consider it.
Dude,
there's no fucking way.
It is a scary world.
No way. And so men are out here just spreading HPV willy-nilly, just going in, and you can catch it with a condom, just like you could catch any STD with a condom because of the skin-to-skin contact. That's what I've been told.
It makes it so sad because sex is great.
Right. But it's like the responsibility shouldn't only fall on the woman to get tested. Like, y'all need to make sure you don't have herpes. Y'all need to make sure that you don't have, gonorrhea, chlamydia, or whatever thing, because you don't have the environment that typically allows things like that to fester, so that you don't typically show symptoms when you do have it. You just pass it on unknowingly. And women, that's why women tend to get the symptoms when some shit does, go into her body. She'll show the symptoms, and of course you'll be like, you gave me something because I don't have any symptoms. Like, no, motherfucker, that's the way that works. You have a penis. Like, that's how that works. You don't typically get the symptoms that women do. That's just, and so it's important that both parties get tested, not just him relying on her results to be like, I'm good. How irresponsible. If you're not responsible enough to have sex, don't have sex.
I think people are so worried about COVID these days that like STDs don't even like cross anybody's mind anymore.
Bruh, I'm worried about it all, man. Fuck that shit.
You're worried about STDs because you're sexually active, you little crazy girl.
Well,
You
I'm not out here slinging pussy, if that's what you're saying. Like,
pussy slinger.
I'm not out here just
You're not the pussy
throwing it all
slinger.
over the place, right? I'm not just fucking throwing it at everybody.
Well, that's good. I mean,
Right,
you gotta stay preserved for
right.
marriage one day.
So, marriage. You know I'm not ever gonna get married. Come on now.
Are you
I think that ship has sailed. I'm 36 now. I think, you know,
it doesn't no,
my
people get
time
married in their
I
50s.
think my well, maybe then.
Yeah.
But, as of right now, I don't think anybody wants to play that game. Is that a segue?
What?
You showing the guy?
I don't see a guy. What guy?
Okay. Bro. Okay, so Jimmy wants to play a little game, guys. Let me get the cards.
Let's
'Cause
play
this
a
is what
little
we do. Let's play a little game. And thank you, Mr. I still don't know how to pronounce that name. Safe? I don't know. Thank you. Go ahead, take it. Girl, you're gonna have to flip your hair and do your own ponytail. I'm busy. My daughter's getting ready for volleyball and she needs me to do her hair.
How long does it take? I mean, I can reins here.
No.
Okay. All right.
She's gotta learn.
The livest podcast on the internet. We're the livest, everybody, aren't we? Yeah. We don't party no more. Let's party, everybody. Hey, press that like button and let's play a game. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I got some.
I'm ready for the games.
Are you guys ready? You guys ready to play the trivia? Make sure that you guys type what your answer would be. See, these are multiple choice. These are questions from Derek Jackson's Mentally Stimulate Me game. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read the question and then Jimmy is going to answer and I'm going to answer. And if you're watching this on the live stream, go ahead and drop your answer as well. Okay. Y'all can play along with us.
Fun.
Woo. Okay. All right. First question.
Okay.
Closest safe distance to a former flame while in a serious relationship. Is it A, no such thing as too close? B, platonic good friends? C, acquaintances who rarely speak? Or D, blocked calls, texts, and social media, including their mom?
I would have to go. All right. Closest safe distance to a former flame while in a serious relationship. I think that if it was a former flame and you're in a serious relationship now, it does depend on how long ago this flame was. And I would have to say, I think that if the flame is still contacting you, then you would have to go with the blocked situation. You would have to go with the blocked. But if the flame wasn't contacting you anymore, then it could be like an acquaintance thing, like occasional thing. It could be.
So you don't think you could continue to be platonic friends with a person? Do you think that's disrespectful to your current serious relationship?
It just like a question like that, like it has so many other questions surrounded around it because it's like, yeah, you could still be like friends with this old flame, but like the way that the question is put, it's like flame. Okay, so like obviously you and this person were like intimate.
You were just fucking. You had you were seeing each other, but you weren't ever serious.
So if you're in like a serious relationship, you would hope that the flame kind of knew their boundaries in some kind of way enough to know that maybe they should step back a little bit and not put too much into it. But it just all depends on the people, because there's some couples that are like super like whatever, like you could be cool with like whoever, and it's not a big deal, as long as you just don't cross that line, then you could do the platonic thing. But it just all depends, it depends on if you date a Latina.
That's true. It's not good for your health.
Yeah.
So I
I
could
can
only do
see.
one more of these questions right now. I'm like
Okay.
having issues.
Okay. Just got to go poop.
No, I don't have to shit. I am definitely hemorrhaging though. So, how likely are you to cut off friends due to political differences on social media? A, never. B, depends on the difference. Would talk to them first. C, would unfriend them online only. Or D, friends get cut off every day.
Well,
first of all, my answer to the last one was C, acquaintances who rarely speak.
Okay. That sounds very stellar. How likely are you to cut off friends for political differences on social media? I'm gonna go with never. It's not a big deal to me.
Well, if it's like a racist thing or a homophobic thing or a xenophobic thing, like I'm like, you and I have nothing in common if that's where you're coming from. So I'm probably not going to talk to you anymore. But if it's like, I voted, well, and voting for certain people says things, right? Like if you're voting for somebody who's actively, you know what I mean? Like
people don't always vote for the people though; they vote for the policies. So you can't.
That's what it is. So you got to be mad at that if you're voting for policies that continue to fuck with people you care about and love. Now, when it comes to like, I don't want to get vaccinated. Okay, I'm not going to like block you and stop being your friend because you don't want to get vaccinated or you believe this or that. Like if it's not something that isn't like harming, and I know the whole vaccine conversation is this, that, or the other, it's harmful to some people to get vaccinated and it's harmful to some people for people to not get vaccinated. That kind of goes both ways, but I don't know. That's just where I stand on that one. So mine depends on the difference.
Mine's is never because it just, I don't get bothered by much. Look at Roy says it could be if they're racist because I'm African American and most of that vitriol is aimed directly at me. So if people believe in racist policies, then yeah, we don't have anything else to discuss. But see, like if it's like if the political differences are like geared at like a specific group of people or a specific thing, I'm not with that personally. Like I don't think that's cool at all. And if people like overdo it, then I might unfriend them in that scenario. Like if people are like just overbearing, some people do get overbearing, but I'm not like super on social media like that. And if I am, my algorithm already shows me what I want to see, which is like boxing and bad bitches. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't always see everybody's political differences because my algorithm already knows me. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Okay. Okay, one more.
All right.
Out of 3 ideal dates during a relationship, you'd prefer 2 of them to be A, in the house, B, at the movies, C, at a nice restaurant, or D, traveling. For me, it's going to be A and D, in the house and traveling.
Out of 3 ideal dates during a relationship, you prefer 2 of them to be in the house, at the movies, at a nice restaurant, traveling. I'd say at a nice restaurant. At a nice restaurant.
Stomach's growling.
I know. Are you starting?
I'm so hungry.
Dig it. I'm hungry. I'm always hungry, especially ever since I've been feeling better from COVID. Like my
this might be TMI, but I'm fucking bleeding like a motherfucker and I gotta go.
All right, everybody. Well,
I'm like full on hemorrhaging right now.
We appreciate you all tuning in. Stella's having woman issues right now.
Hey, that's the real raw deal here at the Side Turn Chronicles.
Back anymore. She's like,
I can't. It's like literally like pouring out of me right now.
Press that like button, subscribe. We'll holler at y'all next episode.